I will take it. It's back to school, back to work, and back to routine. And this week, Seanna Thomas has brought in a couple of recipes that really celebrate the flavors of the coming season, but not quite pumpkin spice latte. And I thank you. I thank you for that. You can do that while I'm away. But these, oh, the smells, the aromas, the flavors. Let's start things off with a spiced apple coffee cake.
Yes, so it is apple season. People are going out apple picking. You can find delicious Ontario apples at your grocery store now.
Pick them off the tree.
You can pick them off the tree. I know. It's amazing. And I absolutely love to use local seasonal produce. You know I do. So this coffee cake's a little bit different than one you would typically have because I use Greek yogurt in there.
Oh, yum.
Makes it a little bit more dense, adds a little bit of protein. And I use about 2 cups of grated apple. So you'll notice in a lot of apple cakes or apple coffee cakes, they're diced up and you get big chunks of apple, but I like it to be sort of spread throughout the cake and that apple flavor be everywhere.
Means?
What's that?
Is that what you mean by when you say grated apples?
Yeah, I grate it right in.
Grated, yes. Yeah, okay.
So I grate it so that it just sort of like the flavor takes over everything. And this one has a lot of that filling, which I really like too. So another thing that you'll find is, you know, walnuts or nuts are sort of throughout the cake.
Yum.
This one, I made that thread of filling with 1.5 cups of walnuts. So there is a ton of that delicious filling, which is kind of what everybody loves coffee cake for, right? They want that like cinnamon sugary layer. So I added a ton of nuts. There's Greek yogurt in here, so it's higher in protein than sort of your typical coffee cake and a little bit more dense, so you don't need to eat as much.
It is delicious. I gotta ask, does it matter with apple? Because when they're cooked, don't they all kind of the same?
There's some that get really mushy, so like a red delicious, that kind of thing. What I like are really tart apples in something like this because it really contrasts the sweetness really well. So I love a Macintosh, a Granny Smith, but really any sort of tart or, you know, semi-sweet apples are really good in something like this. But those are my favorites.
That looks delicious. Okay, from a delicious flavor of apple to one of my favorites, chocolate beet cupcakes. Talk about these.
Another, you know, vegetable that is in season right now are beets, and they're in season for quite a while, kind of August until the end of October. So you can find them. And the great thing about shopping seasonally is they're usually less expensive at the grocery store too, because they're very abundant right now. Yeah. So beets are naturally very sweet, and I love to use them in chocolate cake recipes or chocolate muffin recipes, because they also add just a little bit of that red color, so almost that red velvet.
Yes.
But again, they add that sweetness, so you don't need to use as much sugar. This recipe, I use maple syrup and honey instead of white sugar. And that paired with the beets gives such an amazing flavor, and it also keeps them, and I'm really sorry, Lisa, but really nice and moist. As well.
I like
really
a moist
good.
muffin.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, too, is if your kids are kind of resistant on the whole beet aspect of it, if you serve them this without telling them in it, they wouldn't be able to tell.
No one is going to know that there are beets in this. So unless there's an allergy that you need to worry about, then definitely go ahead and serve this to anybody, and they're going to love it and not know that it's in there. But so good, isn't it?
So good.
So delicious. Yeah.
So rich, so flavorful, and you topped it off with
a cream cheese icing.
Cream cheese.
Cream cheese icing is my absolute favorite, and I find it really pairs well with the chocolates and the beets. So
yeah, traditionally that's more on carrots.
Exactly.
But this works really, really well.
Thank you.
Very sweet, matched with the kind of, it's not overly sweet, the cupcake itself.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because the beet or your recipe, but it's a delicious combination.
Yeah, just a little bit of less sugar. And like I said, I'm using that maple syrup and honey, so it adds a lot of flavor, but not necessarily tons of just sweetness, just overtones of sweetness.
No, it's beautiful. How do we find out more about these recipes?
So all these recipes will be on my Instagram, Seanna Thomas Nutrition, one word, and on my Facebook as well, and you'll find them all this week.
I found it right
here. And here he is. Now that Nick's here, let's send it a break. We don't need to see him eat. We'll be right back.